Hey guys, before I get really deep into the video, if you guys enjoy the video at any time, consider hitting the like button, and if you're new, consider subscribing. It could help me out a lot, increase my reach a little bit. But this is a screenshot from my account back, I think in September of 2019, and I started playing in 2017 after Spider-Man Homecoming came out, and I saw an ad for the game and Spider-Man was on there. I'm like, dude, I gotta play this game, this looks sweet. So I started playing it, I got the 3-star, and then I quit. And I came back like 2 years later, I logged in, I'm like, wait, I have an account? And it brought back all kinds of memories because I actually really enjoyed this game because I grinded for the 3-star starting in Spider-Man from exploring a quest because I just really wanted to play with him. So when I logged back in under my iTunes account, I still had that same account that I forgot about. So I had a decent head start. It was only like 2 weeks or something, but you know, I had some 3-stars. I think I had 4-star Groot, who I loved at the time, not knowing he was bad. But like one of my first 4-stars I ever opened, he wasn't my first, he was like one of my first 10. And I opened it and Night Thrasher pops up. And I'm like, dude, he looks pretty sweet. Let's check him out, let's check out a tier list, because you know, those were my Bible back in the day. And I looked and he isn't really high up there on a lot of people's tier lists. So I'm like, oh shoot, another bad pull. So I was actually kind of bummed out and I was close to quitting the game because I was just getting bored. And I'm like, you know what, I got this new character, let's try him out, I'm gonna play around with him. And his animations just had me hooked. Like, he hits opponents with the skateboard, he blocks with the skateboard. I don't know, it's all pretty cool. So I really enjoy his animations. So he was my first ever 4-star to go to rank 5, and I did that while he was unawakened, and I didn't really know what his awaken ability does, so I was just playing him unawakened. I really enjoyed his utility that he had, and all of a sudden I awakened him somehow. I can't even remember how. I think it was just a 4-star crystal, and all of a sudden I read it, I'm like, wait, he can get fury buffs? So once I got him like sigged up a little bit, because at the time I had some 6 stones, so I dumped him into him, and it just took him to a different level. And I was like, for me, going through Act 4 and Act 5 with 4-star rank 5 Night Thrasher, it was a lot of fun. And he covers a lot of ground that I feel some players could use, but he's a huge investment to get the most out of him. But we'll talk about that later. So one thing I really value about Night Thrasher are the debuffs he places from a special 1. He places a Disorient, Incinerate, and a Shock debuff. Both the Disorient and the Incinerate reduce block proficiency by 50%, totaling up to 100% reduced block proficiency. And the Disorient also reduces defensive ability accuracy by 50%. This early on was very useful for me because it was basically a coin flip to figure out whether or not this defensive ability is going to trigger. It's like, all right, heads or tails, and more than often it helped out a lot, and you can have it up for the whole fight, so it's really useful. Early on when I started out, I didn't really have a tanky character, and Night Thrasher kind of covered that for me. He has a 70.5 base block proficiency, and he has increased physical resistance, which just makes him even more tankier. And when you awaken him, he places a taunt on the opponent when you knock them down when you have special 1 debuffs on them, and that reduces the opponent's attack, and all those coming together makes him really sustainable. So this is one of my favorite parts of his kit, and that's his true accuracy on medium, heavy, and special attacks. That means they can't evade, they can't auto-block these attacks. So Spider-Verse characters, Wasp, the Black Widows, any character on a Mixmaster node, or any enhanced evade nodes, Night Thrasher can counter those characters just right off the bat. He needs no ramp up to get this true accuracy. It's just, you start the fight, these attacks have true accuracy, which is very valuable. And for me, progressing on early on, it really helped me out get through some really annoying fights where, like, I think there's this like really annoying Spider-Man in Act 5 that I use Night Thrasher for. I think he's stun immune too. I can't remember which quest it is, and I don't really feel like going back to Act 6 right now to look, or Act 5, my bad, to look back and see which one it was. But I believe he's stun immune. He was like a pain point because you can't parry and guarantee the no evade through there, so you needed a character who could cancel out evade, and Night Thrasher got through that for me. So that's one reason why, or another reason why I really enjoy Night Thrasher. and he's also an auto block counter. And like MODOK, Iron Man, Medusa, Thor Rags, he counters all these characters. And when I was progressing with the screenshot I showed you earlier, my Alliance War attackers were Night Thrasher and Darkhawk, and then I would rotate in a different character if I needed a different character. And like any MODOKs, any Medusas, any Iron Man Infinity Wars, I was assigned that fight. And even though we had Corvus, everyone in my alliance knew that I was the Thrash Master, and I would have fun with these fights, because they're normally pain points for certain people, you know, progressing through the game. And me having Night Thrasher allowed me to cover that ground, trying to get through some Alliance War content. Looking back, Alliance War content's probably not the best to play if you're trying to get good at the game. Well, not get good, but like move on through the game and progress, because it's just the wars aren't that good, especially for like silver tier. But we can talk about that in a different video. So that's, you know, another reason of the many why I really like Night Thrasher. But he's also Incinerate immune, and this is another scenario. He counters Mephisto very well. Pair his Incinerate immune with the Disorient debuff, and you reduce the chance to activate his aura of incineration or whatever, and then you're already Incinerate immune, so you're just preventing him from getting extra power. So here I'm doing a little duel, and you see the immune just stacking up on the left. So he was my OG Mephisto counter, and I actually did use Night Thrasher a lot in Alliance War against Mephistos. So like there'd be some really annoying characters back in the day that they just assigned me to take, and I mean, they might not be annoying for most people back in the day, but for someone trying to grow their account and who's not that good at the game, these characters were annoying if you didn't have the right counters. And Night Thrasher countered a lot of the annoying characters for me, so I really have that like nostalgia feeling with him. And that's why my 6-star is going to go to rank 3 as soon as I awaken him. And I feel like Night Thrasher to me is like Scarlet Witch to OG veterans. Because like Scarlet Witch used to be like super amazing. She's good now, but they nerfed her at the 12.0 patch that I wasn't there for. But like Night Thrasher got me through a lot of the stuff early on, and that's why I love him so much now. And I feel like that's why a lot of people like Scarlet Witch, because she got them through a lot early on, and you know, now they have the chance to take her up as a 5-star. So that's one of the main reasons why I really like Night Thrasher. And I think this is the last clip I have, and I just have some other points at the end of the video, just talking about why I like him so much, and why other people might not like him. So one thing I really like about him as well is that his synergies add utility. The Darkhawk one adds a bunch of damage, but like Nova allows the shock debuff to reduce combat power rate. Or Guillotine and Moon Knight allow Night Thrasher to bleed the opponent. And there's certain matches where it's detrimental to bleed the opponent. So if that was in his base kit, as rare as it is, he wouldn't be able to do these fights. So it's pretty cool that these synergies allow him to access more ways of getting damage. And sometimes, like for Do You Bleed, you'll need a bleed counter. Well, Do You Bleed Medusa, Night Thrasher was my best option there, and I used him there, and he sold that fight for me. So, you know, it helps a lot, and I'm not a huge fan of characters who need synergies, but you pair Night Thrasher with one of his synergy members, and he's pretty solid. Also, the Mystic Ghost Rider synergy he has, it allows him to go unstoppable on dash attacks, which will allow him to counter like Can't Stop, Won't Stop. Although he's not a great option, and I don't recommend using him, and there's tons of better options. If he's your only option, he could work. And some other niche utility that he's got, he's one of the few characters who can actually counter both buffed up and diss track. He has access to 10 Fury buffs, and then he's got access to 3 debuffs from the special 1, and then 1 extra from his Awakened ability with the taunt. And then if you're able to stun them, that's 5 total. So you'll always have access to damage if there's a diss track debuff. Also, he gets power on dexterity or parrying attacks, and this could be useful for nodes like Special Delivery, where you're only given 15 hits to throw a special attack. If you don't, you'll degen. This will allow him to get to a special 2 faster, so he can reach his damage special attack. And I don't think he's a meta skill character in the game. To me he is, but to everyone else, no, he's not. And he requires a huge investment. He's another character who needs max sig, and most people are investing their skill 6 stones into Aegon if they need someone, because he's pretty damn good. He's great for Labyrinth, great for Abyss. Don't see him really used much in Act 6 or Act 7, but you know, it's whatever. Also, a lot of the people who would even consider ranking Night Thrasher already have characters who can do exactly what he does, and you know, you might have 3 characters who cover the ground that he does. So you don't really need Night Thrasher if you're in that scenario. And if you're a newer player, you're not going to use him much because he needs Awakening and he needs max sig for his damage. So he's kind of in this he's in this place where it's just like you have to really like the guy to use him, because there's characters like Nick Fury who only needs 1 sig and he's good, and then there's characters like Night Thrasher who needs max sig for his max damage potential. And I'm fine with having characters like that in the game, and I don't mind Night Thrasher being that way, but it just puts him in this position where he's not going to be used much by everyone else. But that's going to do it for me for this video, guys. Really hope you guys enjoyed my trip down nostalgia lane, or whatever you want to call it. Night Thrasher is like the reason why I'm still playing, and because, you know, I was getting discouraged due to bad crystal pulls, and I ended up really enjoying, you know, a crystal pull I thought was bad at the time. So he's also kind of set my mentality for the game, which I'm going to talk about in a later video. So if you guys did enjoy and you're still here, if you haven't hit that like button and it's still gray, you know, there's a special thing that you could do by, you know, tapping it, and legend says it'll turn blue. But yeah, I'm done screwing around with you guys. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.